to all! Today's daf is Rosh Daf Lamed Gimel. We are starting Lamed Beis Amud Beis 6 lines up from the bottom with the brand new Mishnah. And today's daf is sponsored Lilu Nishmas. Mars Miriam Sarah Basar Yaakov Maisha her neshama should have an aliyah. And Lilu Nishmas Mars Freda Chaya Bela Basar Yitzchak Tzvi her neshama should have an aliyah. And the Mishnah says Shayfer Rosh Hashanah. You want to go hear Shayfer? Ein Mavir Nalvaz Tchum. You're not allowed to go past the Tchum to go hear Shayfer. Ein Mefachin Alav Sagal. You're not allowed to uncover a pile of stones. You're not allowed to dig through a pile of stones to get the Shayfer. V'lo Elan Be'ilan. You're not allowed to climb a tree. V'lo Rechman Agab Behema. No riding an animal. V'lo Shatan Al Pnei Mayim. No swimming across water. And Ve'ein Chaytchan You're not allowed to cut the shayfer. Not with something that you're going to be over Rabbanan with that, or not with something you're going to be over Diraisa with that. Aval and if you want to put some water or some wine into the shayfer, that's going to help fix the shayfer up and makes it sound nice. And then you're allowed to do so. We're not going to prevent children from blowing shayfer in Rosh Hashanah. We're even going to deal with them, meaning we're going to help them out until they actually learn how to blow. If someone's just blowing shayfer, he's not yotze his chiyav, and if someone's listening to someone else just play around with the shofar and blow it, lo yatsa, he's not yotze either. And the Gemara is going to explain all these cases. And now the Gemara addresses the beginning of the Mishnah. Why is it that we're not allowed to be over these Yisurim in order to hear shofar in Rosh Hashanah? My time, why is that? Shofar asehu. There's an asay to hear shofar. But the yantif, the isra of doing malacha and yantif is asay vilois asay. There's an asay that you're not allowed to do malacha, and there's a lois asay that you're not allowed to do malacha. Ve'in asay, deiches lois asay v'asay. And the asay that you're supposed to hear shofar, that's not going to push away the asay and lois asay that you're not allowed to do malacha. And the Mishnah said, you're not allowed to climb a tree or ride on top of an animal if you want to go hear shayfer. The Gemara asks, we had said that in the Mishnah we're not allowed to do something because a person might be Ovid Rabbanan. For example, crossing over the Tchum. So the Irais Mibaya, of course you're not allowed to do something that might end up bringing you to be Ovid Diraisa. For example, riding on an animal, a person might end up breaking off a branch in order to use it as a whip, and that's a Diraisa. So of course you're not allowed to do that. Once we know you're not allowed to do something that you might be Ovid Rabbanan, of course you're not allowed to do something you might be Ovid Diraisa. So the Gemara says, Zuvein Sarach Lemar Zukatani. Our Mishnah says, Zuvein Sarach Lemar Zu. This is Asr, and for sure the next thing is Asr. And Lamed Gimel Lamed Alpha on the top, we had said, you're not allowed to cut the shayfer, not with something which is Isser D'Rabbanan, and not with something which it would be an Isser D'Oraisa to do so with that. Now, Mishum Shvos, what implement is Asr to cut the shayfer with, and you would be Isser D'Rabbanan? Maglo, that would be a sickle, that's something that's not normal to cut the shayfer with. And Loisase Sakina, a knife is something you'd be over Loisase, that's the normal way to cut it. And once again, we ask the same question. Hashim Mishum Shvos Amrit Loisase Mibaya. We just said you're not allowed to cut it with something you'd be over Isser D'Rabbanan, so of course you're not allowed to cut it with something you'd be over Isser D'Oraisa. So once again, we answer Zuvein Sarach Lemar Zukatani. It's this, and for sure that is Asr. I would say the Mishnah, if you want to put water or wine inside your shayfer in Rosh Hashanah, then you'd be allowed to do so. Says the Gemara, if you want to put water or wine, that's okay. But you wouldn't be allowed to put urine inside. And Masisa Money, who's our Mishnah like, Abashal, he is Abashal. The time you have a Brisa, Abashal Emer, he says, that's because it smooths out the shayfer. But Meraglaim, Asr, you're not allowed to put Meraglaim inside of covered because it's not covered to put Meraglaim inside your shayfer. And the Mishnah said, we're not going to prevent children from blowing shayfer. But it seems to be that we will stop women from blowing shayfer. Since they don't have a chiv to blow shayfer, we're going to actually stop them from blowing shayfer in Rosh Hashanah. Ask the Gemara, you have a brass that says, we're not going to stop women or children from blowing on Yantif. Amar Rabbi, he answers like Kasha. Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Yisrael, Reb Shimon. One's Rabbi Yehuda, one's Rabbi Yisrael, Reb Shimon. The time you have a brisa. Dabril B'nai Yisrael, the pasuk says, speak to B'nai Yisrael, and this is the midst of doing smicha. You have to lean on an animal before you bring it as a carbon. And what do we learn from here? B'nai Yisrael Samchin Ve'en B'nai Yisrael Samchais. B'nai Yisrael, men, they're going to lean on an animal before they bring it as a carbon. But B'nai Yisrael do not do that. Women do not do that. Divrei Rabbi Yehuda, that's Rabbi Yehuda's opinion. Rabbi Yisrael, Reb Shimon, I remember they say, Nashim Samchas Rishos. Women, if they want to do smicha, they are allowed to do so. So it must be that our mission is Rabbi Yehuda that women are not allowed to blow shayfer since they don't have a chiv. It's actually awesome for them to do so. And the Bryce is Rabbi Yisrael and Reb Shimon. I would say if I was asking but we will help children blow shayfer until they actually learn how to do so. Rabbi Lazar, he says, Afilu b'Shabbos, even on Shabbos, we're going to help them. And Tayanami Hachi, we have a Bryce like that. We're going to work with them and deal with them on Shabbos to help them learn how to blow shayfer. And to aim we're not going to stop children from blowing shayfer with Shabbos. And for sure not a Yantif. Ask them, hold on, Hagufa Kasha, that itself is contradictory. You just said Vafilu b'Shabbos and Al Lechatchila Amrin and Taku. That means Lechatchila we're going to actually help them. We're going to tell them to blow shayfer. But Hadartan, and then you quoted this Bryce that says Ein Ba'akvin. We're not going to prevent them from doing it. Ikuvahu Deloy Ba'akvin. So it seems to be that we're not going to stop them from doing it. But Lechatchila Amrin and Taku. But Lechatchila we're not going to tell them to blow shayfer. shayfer, so it seems to be contradictory. Lechatchila, are we going to help children or are we not going to help them? So the Gemara says, like Kasha, no problem. Kan lam gemel beis on top of katan shigel chinuch. We'll talk about a katan that's reached the age of chinuch, and therefore lechatchila we will help him. Kan katan shlegel chinuch. We'll talk about a child he hasn't reached the age of chinuch, so therefore lechatchila we're not going to help him, but we're not going to stop him if he's playing around with the shayfer. And we said in the Mishnah, Mahamas asik lo yatsa. Someone who's asik with a shayfer, he's not yatsa. And what's the inference? Hatakel shir yatsa. That implies that if someone is blowing the shayfer, but he's just doing so for musical purposes, but he ends up blowing a tekiah, so then a person would be yatsa. What's the difference between masasik and tekel shir? Masasik is he's not even trying to get a sound out of the shayfer. He's kind of just playing around with it. Maybe he's blowing air into it, but he's not really trying to get a sound out, and he ends up coming out with a sound. So it seems to be that these would be two different things. Masasik, if he ends up getting a sound out, he's not going to be yatsa. But tekel shir, he's meaning to blow a shayfer, but he's not meaning to blow it to be yatsa chiv. He still would be yatsa chiv if he gets a tekiah out. Alim Zahil Rava, let's say this is a proof for Rava. The Amar Rava, he says, tekel shir yatsa. Someone who's blowing shayfer, he really just wants to do so for the music, but he still would be yatsa if he actually ends up blowing a tekiah. But then the Gemara says, not a raya. Perhaps blowing l'shir, he's just blowing for musical purposes, that's still considered misasik, and it's not a raya from our Mishnah. And we had said in Mishnah, if a person hears from someone else who's misasik with a shayfer, lo yatsa, he's not yatsa. What would be the halach if a person hears from someone else who's just blowing the shayfer for himself? He didn't have anyone else in mind, and you happen to have heard him blowing the shayfer. What would be the halacha? Yatsa, it seems to be that you would be yatsa, because that person is not misasik, he's just blowing for himself. And let me tell you, let's say this is refutation of Reb Zera. The Amalei Reb Zera Shamei, Reb Zera told his attendant, have kavana and blow for me. So it seems to be that we have to have kavana to blow for someone else. You can't just be yatsa hearing from someone else, even though he didn't have kavana for you. The Gemara says, not a raya. Doma adi tana reisha masasik, tana seifa naim masasik. Perhaps since the beginning of this Mishnah, meaning the first part of the statement was talking about masasik, so the second part of the statement is also talking about masasik, but it's also possible that if someone was just blowing for himself and didn't have you in mind, you wouldn't be yatsa in that case as well. And the Mishnah says, Seder tekiyas, what is the order of tekiyas? Shalosh, shal shalosh, shalosh. We're going to blow 3 sets, that's Ramachia, Zecharia, and Shayfers, of 3 each. We're going to have a tekiah, trua, tekiah. Shir tekiah, how long is the tekiah? Kashalosh truas, it's a length of 3 truas. Shir trua, kashalosh yavavas. Shir trua is like 3 yavavas, which is like short blasts. Let's say he blew the first tekiah and that was normal, and then the second tekiah, meaning the one after the trua, was long enough to be 2 tekiyas, and it's only considered 1 tekiah. And only then he managed to get a shayfer. He blows tekiah, trua, tekiah, shalosh ma'amim 3 times from Machia, Zecharia, to Shayfers, even though it's after Musaf. Just like the Shliach Tzibur is chayiv, kach kol yachid v'yachid chayiv, so too everyone is chayiv. Rabbi Gamliel, he says, Shliach Tzibur mitzvah is ram dei chayvasan, Shliach Tzibur, he's mitzvah everyone their chayiv. And now the Gemara asks on our Mishnah that had said that shir tekiah is like shalosh truas, but Vatanya we have a brayse that says shir tekiah ketrua, that the shir of tekiah is like 1 trua. So Amar Rabbi, he answers, Tana didanka chashav tekiah de kul bave, truas de kul bave. Our Tana counts all the tekiyas of all 3 blasts and all the truas of all 3 sets. Tana bara kachashav chad bava v'sulai, whereas the Tana of the brayse counts those of 1 set and not anymore, and they're really saying the same thing. And we said in the Mishnah that shir trua, the length of a trua, is kegimel yavavas. I asked the Gemara Vatanya if a brayse shir trua kashal shvarim, that the shir of a trua is like 3 shvarim and not like 3 yavavas. Shvarim are longer than yavavas. So Amar Rabbi, he answers, B'hai v'atei pligi, this is actually a machlekes. The Chesiv says in the pasuk, Yom trua yelachem. It should be a day of trua. And what's a trua? Targum minon, Targum translates trua as Yom yavava yehelachin. It should be a day of yavava. And what's yavava? Uksiv be'emid Sisra. It says with the mother of Sisra, he was a terrible general that went to go fight Klal Yisrael. Klal Yisrael ended up winning. Sisra ran away. Yael stuck a tent peg through his head and then chopped his head off. We all know the story. And what does it say about his mother when she was waiting for him to come back? It says Ba'ada chalai nishkafa, that she stood by the window, she was looking out. But tiyabev ein Sisra, and the mother of Sisra, she was miyabev, she was crying. Marsaver, one Mandamar holds, what exactly was this cry that Sisra's mother let out? Genuche ganach, it was like a moan or a groan, which is a little bit longer. Umar Saver, one holds Yelula Yalil, it was like these short whimpers. So in other words, her Yavava was either our Shvarim or our Trua, and yes, we have Machlekes, we're not so sure what a Trua is, and that's what we have, Truas and Shvarims. And now the Gemara says, Tanur Rabban, we have a Brayso, Minayin Shabbos Shayfer, how do we know that these Truas that we're supposed to blow on Rosh Hashanah are with a Shayfer? Tamalaymar, we have a lima that says, Ve'avarta Shayfer Trua, Ainli El B'Yovel, this only teaches me that we're supposed to blow a Shayfer on Yovel. But Rosh Hashanah Minayin, how do we know we're supposed to blow a Shayfer on Rosh Hashanah? Tamalaymar, it says, B'Chodesh Hashvi, Shein Tamalaymar B'Chodesh Hashvi, it doesn't have to say B'Chodesh Hashvi, the 7th month, when we're talking about Yom Kippur of Yovel, because we already know that Yom Kippur is in the 7th month. So why does it have to say B'Chodesh Hashvi? Umat Tamalaymar B'Chodesh Hashvi, she will call Truas Chodesh Hashvi, Kazeh. All the Truas, all the blasts on the 7th month are all going to be alike, which means we're going to blow Shayfer on Yom Kippur and blow Shayfer on Rosh Hashanah. The Brayso continues, how do we know they're supposed to blow a tekiah before the Trua? Tamalaymar, it says, Ve'avarta Shayfer Trua. How do we know they blow a tekiah after the Trua? Tamalaymar, it says, Ta'aviru Shayfer. And now Ve'ainli Ala B'Yovel, I only know that we have tekiyahs before and after the Trua on Yovel. Rosh Hashanah Minayin, how do we know we do that in Rosh Hashanah as well? Tamalaymar, Once again, we say b'chodesh hashvi. It says lamed al amad al fan top. She'in tamalamer b'chodesh hashvi. It doesn't have to say b'chodesh hashvi. We already know that's supposed to be on chodesh hashvi. We already know Yom Kippur is in the 7th month. So why does it say it? She would call chuas hachodesh hashvi zekazeh, that all the chuas of the 7th month should be alike, meaning we blow the same chuas on Rosh Hashanah as well. How do we know that we have 3 sets of 3? Tamalamer va'avarta shofar chua shabbos and zichron chua yom chua yelachem. We have 3 psukim. And in Minay Litin is Amr shel zeh b'zeh shel zeh b'zeh. How do we know that we're going to take this pasuk and apply it to that, and this pasuk and apply it to that? Because some of these psukim are talking about Rosh Hashanah, some of these psukim are talking about Yom Kippur of Yovel. So how do we know that we can put all these psukim together and say that they apply equally to Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur of Yovel? Tamalamer shvi shvi l'gzeir shava. We have this gzeir shava shvi shvi. So bottom line, haketzad, how is it the shofar is supposed to be blown? Shalosh shehein teisha, 3 sets which consist of 9 altogether. Shir tkiya ketrua, the length of tkiya is like a trua, and shir trua keshalosh shvarim, the length of a trua is like 3 shvarims. Now the Gemara asks, Hi Tana, this Tana made kar ma'aseh bekesha. Originally he brought the limud that Rosh Hashanah is learned from Yom Kippur. It was from a hekesh shvi shvi. We had the 7th month, V'hashta ma'aseh gzeir shava. Now he's learning from gzeir shava. How do we know that we're going to apply all the blats equally? We just had gzeir shava. Why is it that he's switching from the hekesh to the gzeir shava? So the Gemara answers, Hachikam, this is really what he means to say. Ilav gzeir shava. If I would not have had this gzeir shava, have ma'aseh bekesha, I would have brought the limud from a hekesh. Hashta da'as gzeir shava. Now that we have gzeir shava, hekesh l'tarich, we don't actually need that original hekesh that we had brought. We're going to stop here for the day. Pick up tomorrow with another source that a trua has a tekiah before and afterwards. For now, everyone should have a wonderful day.